Hey, Zelsy, it looks like you upset a few people this week with your seriousness.
Yeah, I did, mate. I should have contributed more to that conversation.
The comments are flying. Why is Zels so serious, eh? Why doesn't he have a sense of humor?
Speaking about people upset, mate, we had people picketing outside the offices this morning, demanding their prizes that they haven't received yet.
Oh, you have officers. No, I've also got a few inbox text messages. Macron, South Africa, have said, be patient. It's a signed Barbarians jersey, will be here next week. An Italian jersey and a Georgian jersey, and those prizes will be sent. The guy in Brackenfell, Hubert, stop texting me, man.
I didn't get your number.
You don't get the jersey, but you may get a bit of brandy. So those prizes will be there. Go to our WhatsApp channel, and there will be pick the first try scorer for the Georgian test, and I'll give you some insights. Go for a forward. Or go for the cross kick to a winner.
Exactly.
Okay? Maybe not a forward. But flankers and the hookers, they're a good bet when you play Georgia for that first try. And it normally comes off a maul. Wow. So it's Georgia against the Springboks. Boks by 10 plus. Boks by 10 and many, many more. The All Blacks, finally the All Blacks B team up against France C team. And then we got Island B up against the Wallabies. In the most anticipated game of the weekend. It's the British and Irish Lions playing the Wallabies. And guess what, guys? The Suncorp Stadium is chock-a-block. It's full. And I looked at those ticket prices. 3,000 Rand plus.
Unacceptable.
If you do the conversion. And the Aussies are saying it's great.
Unacceptable, mate. Got to be cheaper.
All right. So, come on. What do we take out of the Bok game this weekend, other than it's going to be a lekker 80 minutes, watch the Boks win, and hope there's no injuries?
Yeah, so I mean, I always talk about it, but I love what Rassie does in these games. There's always something in it. There's always a subplot. There's always a storyline. For me, it's the three uncapped guys starting in the front row. As much as we think, Georgia is a pushover, you start your first test and you're playing a team that people just expect you to roll. People expect you to just mash these guys in the set piece. It adds to the expectation, the pressure. These guys aren't coming off the bench after some veterans have softened them up front. They've got to do the damage up early, and they've got to prove to Rassie they belong where they belong. And I think it's a great opportunity. I'm very excited specifically to see Nietas go at tight end. I've been waiting a long time to see him play for the Boks. I think he's going to be fabulous. But I do think they're going to face the challenge, and I do think they're going to have to solve some problems on the run in the game. And that's why I'm excited to watch it. So once again, the scrum is center stage for me, and I'm excited to see how those guys go.
Nietzsche, I mean, it's been a long shift for him to get into the Springboks. He went to a few alignment camps.
Yep.
Then he got the Barbars run on. He came onto in their 54-7 win at the DHL Stadium in Cape Town. He was thrilled, but it was a non-international. And then he just had to wait again and wait. So I'm glad he's finally getting that test cap. I mean, he was also like 54th in the queue to get into that box setup, but he's been brilliant for the Stormers.
Brilliant.
Like he said, he was always Frans Malherbe's body double, understudy, with France being with the Boks and then obviously being out injured. Nietas really has come to the fore. And Din Fushi, one of my favorite players, and it's great to see him play. Manus van der Merwe took off to Wales, to find his fame and fortune, because he always wanted to be a Red Dragon, but he's back. That project hasn't worked. So he's back. He's playing for South Africa. And then Buhan Fenter. I love that name, Buhan.
I'm not sure that's how you say it, but anyway, carry on.
Well, they do in Edinburgh. Buhan Fenter. So he was part of the Scottish project plan. He was going to be eligible for Scotland next year,
yes.
and he was going to play for them.
Yes.
And Rassie said, not quite, mate.
Not on my watch.
Anyone out there on their third year of a project plan will pull you for a test match.
Did you see what Gregor Townsend said about him? Gregor Townsend reckons that Buhan Fenter was one of the best loose heads in the URC last season, which is high praise for a guy.
Yeah, but he should have said that on year 3, not in year 2. Rassie, thank you, I'll take him.
Good point, Gregor.
Thanks. So they playing, but then look what they got behind them in that back five.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby, mate.
Peter Steph du Toit, Siya Kolisi.
Yeah.
And then the big Quibbles Visa. I think he's going to go well at 8 in this
I
box
think he's
setup.
gonna go listen, we spoke about Rusty's got his style and his type of 8, and Kubus Visa fits that mold, doesn't he? Big, hard, physical, north-south runner.
No, and you've got to admit, I mean, if you look at, I'm getting lots of messages here. You guys are lying about the Macron. No, we're not. Honestly, no, honestly, I used to you bag. You're going to get something made. At this moment, it's a club, okay? But talking about the visa, so you know Greg Coswell,
Yes.
wonderful
The
man.
model.
You're the model.
The original Zoolander.
He's more than Zoolander. I mean, he's the original Meneer. Okay?
Box steel.
Yeah, he's box steel. Beautiful wife, daughter's now modeling, but the nicest guy, charismatic guy, loves his rugger. Went to Selborne College. Probably that's about the only thing he did wrong in his life, and played for SA. Now, for a Soti to be playing SA under 20 or SA seniors, SA defense that is, back in the 80s at number 8, they toured South America. Nas Buerta was his captain.
Shit.
A couple of box in that.
Insane.
You'll see the big picture. I asked him to send the picture, floating up. But I mean, we have some wonderful rugby chats. He's a big Evan Rus fan as well. So it's not just me, okay? But he understands Rusty's playing. He understands what Rusty's doing at 8. Kubus Visa. But he's also a big Jasper Visa fan.
Okay.
But he asked me if I've heard that Jasper Visa is going to Headbutt School to get an extra kind of week off in terms of,
Yeah.
not on this one, but for the next one.
Yes. Yeah.
When it happens.
Got to get it below the nipple.
When he sees a red mist. But I asked him, where is Headbutt School? And he says it's the Bermuda Triangle. And it's situated between Benoni, Boksburg, and Brakpan.
Yeah.
So I don't know if anyone's been there, the Bermuda Triangle, but apparently you leave looking a bit battered. So if you see Jasper there, he's not misbehaving. He's actually there because he's attending Headbutt School.
Reduce his suspension.
All right. People are phoning me. I thought I was on the aeroplane mode. But yeah, Kubus Visa in for Jasper Visa. But when you saw the one go off against Italy and when the other one came on, well, there was no real difference in the way the approach was to that first ruck that they hit.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it wasn't a ruck. It was some oak.
El Fischetti.
What did the referee say? Kubus, I'll sort it out. Okay.
Okay.
See Brady interviewing them afterwards. It was classic. He had to stand, basically had to stand on a ladder just to get to them. They are big boys.
They are big.
From the Northern Cape.
Yeah.
But nice to see Kubus get an opportunity. What's great about the 3 test matches is nearly every guy would have played. By the end of the 3 test matches, they go home for a week, then they get together in Johannesburg, and they pound Australia when they come here. You got to think of the Aussies. They're like three tests in that series against a British and Irish Lions that everyone says will trounce them. Running on fumes, basically. They don't have more than 23 players, the Wallabies. And then they've got to get on a flight to Johannesburg to play the world champion Springboks. I reckon there could be a few guys feeling the after effects and not coming for that flight.
100%, mate. And so I don't know if you see that Wallabies team for the Lions series. They've got some, Tom Liner's going to be starting at flower for them. He's got all the 3 test caps behind his name.
So he has the surname, man.
He's got the surname, mate. Son of a great. And you just got to, you look at their squad and there's some really nice players in that Wallabies lineup. But the one thing they don't have is depth, mate. 1 or 2 injuries. Like I say, Bobby V out at number 7. You've got a guy coming in now, sounds like a bottle of champagne, mate. He's starting at blindside flanker. They tout him highly, but there's a lot of unknowns about that team.
Yeah, you say nice players, but they don't need nice players against this Lions
it's
team.
like Fraser McWright is the real deal at open side. Carlo Tizzano, mate, coming off the bench. He's real nice.
Yeah, well, he tells everyone that he's real nice as well, apparently. I mean, he does rate himself.
I like that.
And there's no science to this. Maybe it's my distaste for the British and Irish Lions in how they've presented themselves as the greatest team to ever leave the shores of the United Kingdom.
When you say that, Henry Pollock.
Yeah, that is. No wonder he's not in.
Keep your mouth shut.
Although with a surname like Pollock, I mean, he can say what he wants.
I love that.
I think of Peter Pollock, Graham Pollock, and Sean Pollock from South Africa.
Yeah.
Great cricketers.
Yes.
So Henry Pollock, I dig that oak. I thought he's going to feature in the Test series.
Start him, mate.
Get him out there, get him coming off the bench when the Wallabies are on the rack, as everyone says they will be. But you look, Will Skelton, just a week off from playing. I still think some of those veterans been playing in Japan. Pete Samu was playing for Bordeaux. You just had 3 or 4 guys in. You've got a bit of grunt and a bit of mongrel. Joe's gone all guns in for those guys who played Super Rugby.
Yeah.
It's kind of thinking beyond the Wallabies Test series here. It is long term for him. He's really trusted these players. But I mean, they snuck past Fiji, 21-18.
Sneaked. Agreed.
Sneaked in the 78th minute.
Yep.
Although Fiji did put away a Scottish team after that, missing 8 players who are with the Lions. So, great occasion. Suncorp Stadium, one of my favorite stadiums. It's like it's a bit like the old Newlands on roids. It really is a cool stadium. It's like the crowd is right on the players. It's the ground that the Wallabies are the most successful in. They haven't lost too many. Maybe I think 5 or 6 games in the last 15 years.
Yep.
It's a fast. The track is fast paced. Who does that suit? The Lions, the Wallabies. You've watched the 5 matches of the Lions.
Yep.
I think they could ambush these Lions if they get a good start.
I agree. No, listen, I mean, we've been picking Australia to win the series for some time now. And as much as they have serious question marks around them, I think what gives me confidence that Australia is going to be strong and possibly win this series is the selections that Andy Farrell made straight up for the first test. I mean, they really are backing the playmaking, creative, unpredictability vibes. You know, you've got Finn Russell starting at 10. You've got Marcus Smith on the bench. There's definitely a little bit of sort of razzle-dazzle to those selections. And I think that gives Australia a chance. I think if the Lions went straight front door, went brute force, and kicked their penalties, I think if they went Finn Smith, I think if they went Owen Farrell, it'd be too much for the Wallabies. But the Wallabies have got a chance against this kind of team. I think their back row can get parity, maybe even supremacy against the Lions back row, and then it's all to play for. So yeah, I wouldn't say Australia are overwhelming favourites to me, but I think they are. I'd give them the edge.
If you look at that side, 8 Irish blokes in the starting 15, 11 in the 23. Mac Hansen obviously not available. Doris not on tour. However, Jack Conan is starting, so he's out of that Irish mix. I reckon Ireland's 23 that's been playing for the last 3 years is stronger than this Lions 20.
Definitely, mate. I'd agree with that.
And I'm surprised Andy Farrell, being the Ireland coach, hasn't basically gone with 14 Irishmen and Owen Farrell.
That's exactly what I would have done.
And keep it in the family.
Totally.
And with Mrs. Farrell as convener of selectors.
Totally, mate. Totally. Look, I think the Lions are going to score some beautiful tries with Finn Russell in the mix, but I also think he's going to go a little bit walkabout, do some things that give Tom Wright an opportunity to score. So let's see.
It'd be great if Tom Wright slices
He's so good, mate. He's so good.
I saw him at Hammers the other night with the second and thirds.
That's correct.
How's he going to get back to Brisbane in time, mate? Zels! But yeah, I kind of Mac Hansen would have been on the wing. Tommy Freeman, I do rate him. I think he's a very good player.
Very good.
Played for the Saints.
Yeah.
Was good. England, breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
15 was the one jersey that was up for grabs. I don't think he was decided, but every guy got injured. Blair Kenhorn got injured.
Out.
Elliot Daly would have probably been the starter. He's injured.
Yeah.
Hugo Keenan coming back from injury. Marcus Smith, they played around with him at fullback. He's not a fullback.
No.
He's on the bench though to kind of create that kind of buzz. The big question at the midfield was, do they go with the Irish pair of Bundiaki and Gary Rinrose? But then Gary Rinrose got a head knock, concussion. I always thought they were going to go with the Scottish pair.
I think that's a good choice. I like that selection.
In the centres, especially when he, from early on, said Finn Russell is my go-to 10.
Yeah.
And I do think Gibson Park is the best 9.
Yeah.
The big one for me, just watching all the games and having watched the last 2 seasons of rugby up north, Jack Morgan, I thought, has been brilliant on this day. He's been brilliant. For a guy who's played in one of the worst ever Welsh teams, he's been a trooper. I mean, if that guy was playing for the All Blacks or a South African, he'd been the South African 23, the qualities that he has. When he's played in the URC against our teams, they've said, hang on a second, we know we've played against a test loose forward.
Yeah.
And Tom Curry, I think, is there more in reputation than he is on performance on this tour. Josh van der Vlier must think, hang on a second, Mr. Farrell, I thought I was your guy. But yeah, Tom Curry over him, I thought that to me was the big surprise. Even though you knew it was coming, you just have to read those who are close in the media to the team, and they didn't get one wrong in the last 2 days in their speculation. They had Tommy Freeman out on the right when told us Mac Hansen was out. We always knew James, though, was going to be picked ahead of Duan van der Merwe. He just offers so much more in terms of his all-round game. But Jack Morgan, and there was no real talk about Jack Morgan being left out. It was like, Tom Curry's the man. He's going to be picked. He knows what he's done in previous Lions tours, etc., etc. And I just thought, I think they've missed a trick there.
Well, I think if you picked a Lions team from the guys who aren't starting, I think they could probably beat this Lions team. You know, if I look at the guys who, I mean, with the exception of the centres who are like, and Tommy Freeman's an absolutely fabulous player, James Lowe also. But I mean, if you had to look at, as much as Ben Earls is not going to be on anybody's shortlist of world's best player, there's a hunger and a desire about that guy. It's the same with Henry Pollock. They want to be there. They want to do damage to these guys. And they don't care if they live to see tomorrow. And I'm not sure I can say that about some of the other guys in this lineup. And so a guy like Ollie Chesham might have in the mix. I think the Finn Smith and the Owen Farrell combo, potentially at 10 and 12, could be deadly. Ben White, the Scotsman, also another nice option. I think, I wouldn't be at all surprised if there's mass changes for the second test, almost like Farrell's testing the water in this first one, and the Lions try and win test 2 and 3. I don't know. I'm surprised that this is his go-to combinations.
And you've got to think for the series, Australia, this is the one. They've got to get that first test. It's in Brisbane, as we said, favourite ground, where they've been most successful. They'll get stronger in terms of their grouping if the World Scouters of the world are back and one or two other players. James O'Connor, I expect him to feature in test 2 and 3 on the bench, potentially even starting at 10. Because 10 is, like you say, that it's Lionel. He's got the surname, but he's only got 3 test caps. I like Gordon at 9.
Yeah.
Just his physicality and the way he plays the game, and McDermott to come off the bench. See, we have been watching Super Rugby, guys. We actually know who these guys are. But yeah, when the Lions came here in 2021, you're like, geez, these guys could pick 3 teams. Ireland was on fire.
On fire, mate.
Wales were kind of like not where they are now. Scotland still had some brilliant players. It was like, who's he left out of the squad? And then the Irish contingent, and you just thought they're just like some hardened veterans there. The whole Alan Wynne-Jones story. He's coming, he's not coming, he's injured, he'll be here. Gatlin, just like a bit of mongrel when he came here. COVID, everything. People still underestimate what an incredible series win that was for South Africa.
Big time.
In empty stadiums, having had 1 test match
Against Georgia
in 20 months, up against guys who had played 10 test matches in the build-up to that and had a whole Northern Hemisphere season. Still one of the great Springbok series wins. And that to me was the Lions are in town. When I look at this Lions side, and Henry Pollock, bless him, he's only 20. He said 3-0, we will be the greatest Lions team that's ever left. Thank goodness most of those guys from 71 and 74 are gone, because, I mean, they may have just got on a plane and had something to say to him. But those guys, I mean, that 71 tour of the Lions to New Zealand, 74 tour here. I was still a pup back in those days. But I just remember all the songs. Hi, Casanova. Like it, no, dat die Springbok verloor het. How could these outs beat us?
Yeah.
How could those pasty legs come here and beat us? The call of 99, the legend of the Lions. I mean, that 74 tour, Willie John McBride and the boys, they would play every South African side and just beat them, the big ones. And then we pick 13 province players and get beaten in the test. Then they play the Cheetahs and just beat them. And then we pick all the Cheetahs players, they'd smash the Bulls, and they're in all the Transvaal. They just pick like 8, 9 of those guys, and then they'd beat them. And somehow they came to that last test and it was a draw. But they should have won that series 4-0. They were just magnificent. The 71 Lions to New Zealand, equally good. It was just a great era. So we talk great Lions teams. That's a great Lions team. The 97 team that came here, also to have got the win over the South Africans, impressive. The 2017 Lions, I think they hit New Zealand at the right time. They were on the way. They were starting to decline. But this is no great Lions team. And this is the worst Australian team in a long time. They're ranked 8th in the world. But it's still the best match of the weekend.
I love how we got there, man. We took the long road, but it was worth the drive.
It is the best match of the weekend. It's 12 o'clock, and I'm going to be in Barrydale with John Dobson, the commander. He's having a great weekend there at the Karoo Art Hotel. Francois van Coke plays on Friday night. We're going up to the rugby club on Friday evening. Dobbo's got lots of kit for the club. I mean, he does so much for Barrydale, along with the Rick and Sue Melville. Kitsy's going to be there. Branners, Dion Fourie, Scudder's going to be there. Some Bomb Squad boys there. We're going to be talking rugger. So get down there on the Friday evening. You can get tickets at the entrance. I think it's 150 people that it takes. And we know that the rugby hall is going to be packed for the next day. But come and have a few Brandewyn and Cokes with the boys, and a Jägermeister or 10 with myself and Dobbo. Zels won't be there, but I'll be representing him. I will be emceeing it, but it's going to be nice to get out there, watch a test match that you know the Boks are going to win. There's no anxiety. And again, we speak performance more than points.
Definitely. I think this is a game where, as much as it's going to be a forwards battle to get to sort of soften Georgia up and get control of the game, I feel like this is one where potentially we could see some backs scoring lots of tries, like maybe one of those wingers scoring 4. I think between Edwall and Kirtley, Apaleli Fassi at the back, I think it's going to be a great day out.
And Apaleli Fassi, it actually seems like yesterday when he made his test debut against him on the win, scored that great try when he kind of cross kick, he gathered it in, went over, and then kind of went walkabout for 2 years.
Yeah.
Back in the mix. Good to see him at fullback. I like the back three that they've chosen. Plenty of pace there and excitement. Damien Dialandi, the big dog, to settle things down at 12. And just to see him playing with a Kane and Moody, just that guy is probably my favorite back in terms of what he offers. He glides at 13.
Beautiful.
He has mongrel at 14.
He's a big unit.
Yeah, great aerial game. Remember his first test try, 24-8 we won against the Wallabies in Sydney. And it was a good Wallaby side back then. For us to beat them later. I'm just glad Rusty's picked that combination. And then Sasha and Grant Williams, 9-10. I believe that is the combination for the future.
Slicks.
I know that Rusty and Tony Brown, they love Marnie Lebok. And Tony Brown especially loves the way Marnie Lebok plays, the way he can unlock defenses with his passing game. And if goal kicking was never an issue, I think you'd see Marnie Lebok starting most of the time.
Sure.
But when it's the big test come, as we saw in the World Cup, it is normally an issue. So lots there. Surprised that Polly wasn't given another week off, that he's on the bench.
Yes.
I don't know what gain or value you're going to get out of this one for him outside of he's 10 more points closer to Monty's record.
That's a very serious bench, eh?
Yeah, it's a great bench. And like
Fabulous.
we spoke earlier, I mean, you spoke about that young front row in terms of experience, not necessarily age.
Yeah.
But who's sitting on the bench stretching?
I mean, Bongi, 34. Thomas du Toit, 30. Vincent Koch, 35. Ergies Snyman, 30. Kwagga Smith, 32. Faf de Klerk, 33. Andre Pollard, 31. And the young Damien Willemse, 27.
And then they're off to the Bermuda veterans after that. They play on the Sunday social.
Exactly.
Looking at those names, and now we would have had 4 games, 3 test matches, the Barbarians warm-up, and then basically it's down to 36 players. I think he said 33 or 36 that he's going to pick for these 2 home tests against Australia. Another week off, and then obviously 6th of September, 13th September, the big one, off to New Zealand. And we're not forgetting about Argentina. We're just saying that we'll get to them a bit later in the season.
Not in the show.
Lost Pumas. They were the lost Pumas against England.
Yeah, they were.
But you look at, and obviously Rusty knows how many game minutes he wants to give each guy, and then also understanding how many matches guys have played in the URC or played in Japan or played for their respective franchises and clubs. But Ergies Snyman wasn't great when he came on at Loftus, and neither was the collective of that bomb squad. And he hasn't started, so his role, I think, primarily will be off the bench. So there's something for him to show. And in a second, I was the Leinster Player of the Year. I was probably the best lock in the URC and one of the best in the Champions Cup. And I need to start featuring here with the Boks.
Correct.
So that's the one for me, is Ergies. And then Tommy du Toit will think just circumstance. I got yanked after 30 minutes because Jasper got sent off and Ox had to come kill some or kill some pack.
Yeah.
A pack of
exactly.
Italians.
Yeah. Run that scrum on his own.
Do you want to come have a pasta?
Yeah.
There's 8 of them. Take them. But what do you think they individually want to get out of this game? Because everyone talks the collective, but come on, they want to make an impression.
Yeah, 100%. I think so. On the Ergies Snyman thing, that has definitely been like a bit of a dripping tap, hasn't it? Because the potency of that guy in club rugby, I mean, you look at him for Munster, what he did in that URC final, just an absolutely prodigious talent, takes over the game, just insane. But we're still kind of waiting to see that in the test arena consistently. And I think what Ergies needs to do is maybe focus a bit more on those fundamentals. What we want to see from him is massive hits, complete control of the line out, contesting the line out, just the physicality. Because we all know he can offload, we all know he can run. For Oki's size, he's massively mobile. But I think we want to see a little bit more of the sauce in Ergies Snyman. Show us a bit of the hard yards that is required of the second row. And then Tommy du Toit, in a group of very experienced props, he is among the younger guys and a guy who I think a lot of people expect to be able to get to the next World Cup. He gets a lot of credit for his versatility being a swing prop, but I think Tommy du Toit's got to nail down a position, and he's got to do what Ox did in that game, is show some real power on a consistent basis to dominate the set piece. So I think both of those guys will be looking at that. And they've certainly got motivation with the likes of Ruan Nokia and an uncapped front row coming through to deliver their best.
And then you look at, Ruan Nokia starting at 5 lock, has been like the surprise package in the last 2 seasons. Slotted into Test rugby like he's always been there.
Yeah.
I mean, New Zealand must wish they had a player like him.
They do.
And it's flourished. And with Jake having played him so much at 7 flank, he does seriously put some heat on Sos, on Franco Master, to say, I could be your successor because I can play lock, and I can play 7 flank, and I'm about 8 years younger than you.
Correct.
And taking nothing away from Franco Master. I mean, he's been incredible. Incredible servant to the game, but he's taken a pounding over the years. And as we see, Father Time doesn't kind of wait for anyone.
Correct.
In any sport. So it is a huge next 12 months for a lot of those double World Cup winners who are on the wrong side of 30. And Rassie has said the ideal age for a World Cup is 28, 29.
Correct.
So when you start seeing 15 guys 32 plus,
there you go.
You're quite thinking, hang on a second, I think this guy's taking all 15 of us.
Correct.
So how do we make a compelling argument you actually can't leave us out, because forget our age, we are that good.
Hold on.
And I would think a guy like Bongi, he's got to have a big couple of next games. Malcolm Marx is just elevated to, for me, he and Dan Sheehan consistently in a league of their own. But Ruan Nokia can put the heat on. Kubas Visa gives more options to the back row. I think if he looks at Cam Hanekom coming back and Evan Riss, even maybe not even 8s, sees them playing in a 7 role.
Definitely. I can see Cam playing open side for sure.
So there are options there. And then I think for Grant Williams, this is just another opportunity to say, I am the boykie here. Faf is in the mix again. He's got a long way to go to get back his best form. We know what Reiner can do, but he is 34. And Jaden wasn't great. I know you love him as a player. But that 9 to me is I just thought he added something.
Well, I mean, as long as the Bok pack continues to dominate all comers, you can afford to have a 9 who's there for the speed of the attack. You don't really need a guy to be mopping up if you're just absolutely decimating everybody in front of you. And Grant's running downhill onto the ball the whole game now because that pack is just taking over. And I mean, I'm not talking specifically this season. I'm saying in the last couple of years, obviously double world champions, the Boks have been physically in control of games. You bring 7 forwards off the bench and just keep doing that. You don't necessarily need Just to be making cover tackles there. If you've got a speed guy, you can accelerate your attack with a guy that gets to the breakdown quickly and the delivery is fast. So Grant is perfect for where the Boks are now. And we should take advantage of it. You can get away with having a Grant and a Mani at 9 and 10 because until somebody gets through the heavies up front, they're shielded and they can do their most damage. So we're in a very, very good space. I just hope that we do the sort of contingency planning for if and when somebody does start to stand up to the tight 5.
But then how many packs are there out there?
Exactly.
You've got France, potentially Ireland.
Yeah.
Spot on. England will always be difficult if you're playing them at Twickenham. We're not playing them there that season. And, I still don't think New Zealand has the depth to stand up to us consistently for 2 test matches.
Yeah.
Come September the 6th and the 13th. Their pundits, their former All Blacks obviously believe they do. Playing at home, and our record has never been great over there. So from a record point of view, we haven't got much of a leg to stand on. But from this current crop, they have gone there and won and drawn. They've won here. They've beaten them on neutral grounds at Twickenham. They beat them in a World Cup final. So they've had more than parity against this All Black side, 4 in a row, which is like, it's not often the All Blacks lose 4 in a row.
Yeah.
So, I want to see performance. It's going to be a great physical hit out. I've got a couple of penalties for Georgia. They'll score a try somewhere. But I got the Boks to win this one, 46-16, a 30-point win. But like a fairly disciplined performance.
46-16. Okay, so I've got South Africa to win this one, 52-7. I've got a 45-point margin. So I'm a little bit more optimistic about it than you are. But I think we're both in the same sort of space here. I can't see Georgia scoring double digits even. and I think the Boks will be in full control.
Right. The other one, I got Australia to really shock the world, shock themselves, and win 29-28, 1 point.
I've got 25-22, mate. Same boat.
So I think it's going to be the home crowd. It's going to be Suncorp that's going to lift them, and it may put some doubt into the Lions' minds going into that second test, and then we could have a ripper of a series.
I think so, mate.
And then the one in Hamilton, it looks like the Chiefs are playing against the French. It looks like a Chiefs 15. When you bring in Anton Leonard-Brown back, mate, hey, it's 82 plus tests, I think, and
that back line is bread.
I remember him in that 57-0 test match in Albany. I remember him bumping off Andre Pollard, who came off the bench.
Yeah.
It's got him in poor positioning. But outside of that, it's like, who are they going to, you know? And they've made 10 changes, so I think they'll make a game of it. I think it will be one of those. I think France are tired, end of their long season. We saw the best from them in that first test match in Dunedin. They still had good spirits. New Zealand would have kind of taken it out of them now. The weather, the food. You go to Hamilton, mate, the cowbells. I've got the Chiefs 15 to beat them. To beat them 38-18, 20-point win.
Okay, I've got 42-22, mate. Also a 20-point win for New Zealand. So I think that's the way it's going to go. France have made some changes. The All Blacks have made a bunch of changes. I don't think they're going to get too many answers from that back line. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, for us, I mean, it's one of those nice weekends. You can sit back, you can relax, you can enjoy a Bok win. Good news for our boys up north. Clinton van der Berg, we said, was the big signing. Jan Saffentain, another big signing. Andre Pollard, obviously, the big marquee signing. But they got Ackers back. Jan Ackerman in the mix. And just absolutely brilliant. I think he's a great fit for them.
Agreed.
He started his rugby there. He was in the Pretoria Police side and then into the Bulls. From there, he played for the Boks. Ron Ackerman's coming to Cape Town. So that will add some spice to the North-South derby. It won't be Dobber against Jake. It'll be Ron against Johan. Two Ackermans. And there's not much to choose inside between the two of them as well. So looking forward to that. And then obviously the team you've been loving.
The Junior Boks.
Talk us through that, buddy.
Let's go, baby. They're playing the Baby Blacks on Saturday night in the final. You got to be holding thumbs that we go all the way on this. They were absolutely rampant during the league phase and then the playoffs. Just the way that they ran through Argentina, mate. Some of the tries they scored, just absolutely superb. Hashim P doing some fantastic stuff from scrum half. Cheswell Jooste on the wing. Mbeleli, the hooker, was one of my personal favorites. And then Batu Klikani just doing massive damage from blindside flanks. So rooting for them. I hope they go all the way and we are crowned junior world champions.
You know, and they say you don't win the rugby championship and the world championship in the same year. It used to be like that. We didn't win the rugby championship. We lost 45-42 in the decider, basically, against the Baby Blacks in Kibera. And we were very disappointing. We've been electric. The Baby Blacks haven't been bad, but they're not a big side by their usual standards. They play with a lot of pace. I thought they were good in beating France 34-26, but we were just brilliant in dismantling. 70 points against Scotland, 70 against Australia, close to 50 against Argentina, and then 32-22 against last year's champions England. That was a good, solid win. But to come back from trailing early on in the first half, great composure. I have the Baby Boks, the Junior Boks, to win 36-34.
Woo!
To reverse it by 5 points.
Let's go!
36-34. And for us to finally say, we can do whatever we want in South Africa because we are the world champions, we are the Sevens champions, and the Springboks are the under-20 world champions. Boks by 10 and lots more.